now we are going to, we've seen till your Pisces, chondrichthyes, osteichthyes, etc. The next family which we're going to see is nothing but your amphibians. Okay, so amphibians, then reptiles, aves, and mammals. These are the families left, phylums left. So coming to your amphibians, okay, as I told you, an amniote. Both Pisces and amphibians are an amniote. Okay, now um the amphibians, they can live they can live both in the land and also in the water. Okay, so they are considered as a link between the water, terrestrial and aquatic animals. Okay, because they can dwell, they can frogs can live in the water and also on the land. So they are both. So they are the link between your aquatic and also your terrestrial animals. Okay, now amphibians are basically they will be having they lack scales. Okay, so scales are absent, though it is present, it is deeply buried, or it is deeply buried. For example, your ichthyopus. Okay, so example is your ichthyopus, ICH, ichthyopus. Okay, so this is called as blind worm. This is called as blind worm, or I can also call it as limbless amphibian, because it will be more like a snake only. Ichthyopus is, I mean, it is more like your fish. There won't be any limbs and all. So this is called as limbless amphibian. Okay, and why it is called blind worm is that the eyes are deeply buried inside the within the scales. Okay, so scales itself are deeply buried. So those scales are burying the eyes also. So that is why you call them as blind worm. Okay, you have two pairs of limbs here. Instead of fins, you have limbs, four limbs and nine limbs. Okay, then their skin is moist. Okay, for respiration, they have is three chambered. For fishes, it is two chambered, whereas here it is three chambered. Okay, if you see this three chambered heart, both oxygenated and deoxygenated is getting mixed, so they supply only the mixed blood. So that is why, to compensate this, they'll not get enough oxygen. So to compensate this, they'll also undergo cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration is respiration by skin. Okay, so cutaneous is also seen in this particular thing. And then you can find tympanum, operculum, all these are present. Okay, sexual dimorphism is seen, sexes are separate again. Okay, frogs, they do lay eggs and they undergo external fertilization. Okay, if you see the larva larva is a monotelic, because the larvae lives in the water. Okay, so they excrete ammonia, whereas your adult organisms are ureotelic. Okay, fishes are ammonotelic, they live in water, so they totally are ammonotelic, whereas your larvae is ammonotelic, whereas adults are ureotelic, they excrete urea. Okay, so and the larva has a tail. Okay, the frog's larva has a tail also. Okay, next is that kidneys are mesonephric, so they have mesonephric kidneys. Frogs have webbed feet also. They have copulatory organs like your nuptial pad, etc. So they have copulatory organs to facilitate the fertilization. Okay, so if you see these amphibians, you have two categories. One is frog and toad. Okay, ichthyopus is also coming into that. Apart from that, frog and toad. Okay, see, to list out some of the differences. Okay, frogs are diurnal, that is, they're active both in the daytime and nighttime, whereas toads are nocturnal, they are active only in the nighttime. Frogs alone will exhibit this cutaneous respiration. Toads will not, because frog skin are slimy and moist, whereas toads will have a dry, scaly skin. Okay, so you can see if it is in green color and if it has got nice moisture, it is frog. But toads will be in brown color and it will be dry, so that is a toad. Okay, head is triangular and head is mouth head is triangular in frog. Okay, and one more thing is that frogs do not have parotid glands, whereas toads have parotid glands. So these are some of the basic differences. Okay, skin color green and brown. Okay, then cutaneous respiration is seen, not seen. Parotid is not seen, whereas there it is seen. Okay, so all these are some of the basic differences. Okay, so that is all about your amphibians. So if you see this Ichthyopus, it's this is a link between your Pisces and amphibians. Okay, and amphibians, if you see, they are actually they have three-chambered heart. So what happens is that the separation is not proper there, the ventricular separation. So there is a mixing of blood completely. Okay, for example, upper division is complete, whereas the ventricular division is incomplete. That is why it is considered as a three chambers. Okay, so this is all about your amphibians. Next comes your, okay, the period of amphibians is called as Carboniferous period. Okay, Carboniferous period is the period of your amphibians. Okay, so you have certain periods. Okay, for example, Devonian is for fishes, Carboniferous is for amphibians. So aves, sorry, reptiles. Okay, so coming to your reptiles, Mesozoic era. So it's not just period, the entire era is the era of reptiles. Okay, so Mesozoic era is considered as a period of your reptiles. Okay, coming to your reptiles. So these organisms, your amphibians, okay, your amphibians and your Pisces are cold-blooded. Cold-blooded means you can also say it as poikilothermic. Poikilothermic. The reptiles are also poikilothermic. Okay, but they are amniotes. Their eggs will have the amnion fluid. Okay, then okay, they are limbless. Okay, reptiles will not have. I mean, they have limbs, but both limbs and limbless organisms are present. Okay, then okay, heart is, the heart of the reptiles are again three-chambered heart. Okay, so actually reptiles are nothing but a little extension of your amphibians. Okay, so yes, reptiles are kind of your lizards, your snakes, your alligators. All these are your reptiles. Okay, so now next is that there's no cutaneous respiration at all. Ear is very much reduced. So tympanum is only counted as ear. Okay, so ear is very much reduced. So tympanum is your ear. Okay. Next is that some reptiles will shed their skin. Okay, so shedding of skin is seen in snakes. Okay, snakes will shed their hard, their calcary or cartilaginous exoskeleton as they grow. Okay, so that process is seen in snakes. Okay, then no larval stages, they lay eggs. Uh, External fertilization, sorry, it is internal fertilization, and they are oviparous. Oviparous, and they undergo internal fertilization. Okay, next is that snakes and your lizards will have an organ called as Jacobson's organ. See, they have a very great sense of this olfactory features. Okay, olfactory is smell. So they have a very long taste and smell. Okay, so they have a very long tongue, and this Jacobson's organs are found near the olfactory area. This is seen on in the snakes and lizards. Okay, so this will go hand in hand with your poison apparatus. Okay, so Jacobson's organ is seen in snakes and some lizards. Okay, then okay, your chameleon. they have prehensile tail. Prehensile tail means with the tail they can catch their prey. Okay, tail is used as an organ for catching the prey. It's not just as a tail, it is also used for catching the prey. That is called as prehensile tail. Okay, and this color changing mechanism, okay, is called as metacrosis. This chameleon will change the camouflaging activity seen in chameleon, right? So this activity, this phenomenon is called as metacrosis. Okay, and then you have some lizards. You have some flying lizards also. Okay, so in some lizards, what happens is that the skin fold itself is becoming your wings. That is called as, you cannot call it as wings here. You call it as patagium. Okay, so wings are nothing but formed by the folds, and it is called as patagium. Okay, and then your snakes. Okay, okay, this process of shedding of skin is called as ecdysis. Okay, ecdysis is shedding of your skin. Okay, then I think all other points circulatory. They have metanephric kidney. Okay, so all reptiles will have three-chambered heart except your crocodiles. Crocodiles will have four-chambered heart. Okay, apart from crocodiles, all other reptiles will have only three-chambered heart. Okay, flying lizard, patagium is seen, then your chameleon. Okay, so metacrosis is a principle. Then, okay, yes, you have some connecting and missing links, beautiful connecting and missing links. Seimoria. Okay, Seimoria is actually considered as a link or a missing link between your amphibians and reptiles. Okay, Seimoria is a missing link between your amphibians and reptiles. அப்படியே இருங்க ஒரு நிமிஷம். இல்லைண்ணா ஒரு நிமிஷம், ஒரே நிமிஷம். Okay, yes, Seimoria is a missing link. Then Spinodon. Spinodon is a living fossil which is seen now also. Okay, so Spinodon is called as Tautara. Okay, Spinodon is a living fossil. Seimoria is a link between your amphibians and reptiles. Okay, and most importantly, they have monocondylic skull. Here for amphibians and all, the skull is dicondylic. Whereas here they have see what is this dicondylic and monocondylic is that if this is your neck, I'm just telling in humans, okay, the way it is attached to your skull is by two condyles, so I call it as dicondylic. But if it is attached by only one condyle, I call it as monocondyle. So what happens is if it is dicondylic, I can rotate only to up to 180 degrees, but if it is monocondylic, it can rotate to 360 degrees. Okay, so that is the main difference. So reptiles have monocondylic skull. Okay, and then okay, they have 10 pairs of cranial nerves, 10 to 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, and then and then if you see the snakes and all, they are mostly nocturnal. They burrow themselves inside. Okay, lizards are like found living normally, and then this monocondylic skull is the main feature of your reptile, and some will have, for example, your flying lizards are Draca. Flying lizards are also called as Draca. Okay, so you call it as Dracula and all, right? So Draca sounds similar. So flying lizards, patagium, some organisms will have poisonous glands also. Okay, this Johnson's organ is a vomonesceral organ. Okay, so that means it is related to your sense of smell. Okay, and the poison. Okay, so that is all about your reptiles. Enough. So main thing is dicondylic, monocondylic heart chambers except your crocodiles. Okay, and then we are going to see about aves. Okay, So coming to aves, as you know, a study of birds is called as ornithology. Okay, study of birds is called as ornithology. So if you see birds, they have a very special apparatus called as voice box or strings. Okay, so that will make some pigeons and all, you can see them making sounds, right? Kind of sounds. Some birds uh, will actually sing, will whistle, etc. That's because they have a voice box or strings, okay, which is a preformed, I can say larynx, okay. So yeah, I cannot call it larynx here, but it is strings, okay. Then, okay, here also they are monocondylic. Skull is monocon. The birds can turn behind and then look at the tail. Why? Because they have monocondylic skull. Okay, so they have oil glands and they have feathers for flying. Okay, so these oil glands are found in the feathers. Okay, why? Because at times when the feather is getting dried out or when it is not properly, conditioned, then these oil glands are secreted and the birds will start, equally distributing the oil. That process is called as preening. Okay, so birds preen because the oil glands are the secretions are evenly distributed, and most importantly, they have a special types of bones called as pneumatic bones. Pneumatic bones are the bones with that is, the bones will not be thick and sturdy. You can find cavities in the bone, so that what is the purpose is that they'll the this setup will make the bird very light and enable them to fly better. Okay, so this kind of bone is called as pneumatic bones. Okay, then okay, coming to the heart chamber, they have four chambered heart, and they are not poikilothermic, they are warm blooded, and so they called as homeothermic. Okay, homeothermic. Then okay, they undergo internal fertilization and they are oviparous. They lay eggs. Okay, they lay eggs. So the largest bird is nothing but your ostrich, and the smallest bird is your kiwi. Okay, some flightless birds are also present. Okay, kiwi is actually a flightless bird. Okay, and the smallest flying bird is nothing but the hummingbird. Kiwi is flightless bird. You cannot say all birds do fly. There are some flightless birds. So kiwi is your flightless bird. Okay. So ostrich, that is the largest thing and that lays the largest eggs maximum. Okay. So apart from this, okay, they have quill feathers. The type of feathers which they have is called as quill feathers. Okay. So jaws are modified into beak. Jaws are modified into beak. So you cannot find jaws in birds, you can only find beak. Okay. So this is all about your aves. So the final family which we are left out is only the mammals. Okay. Before that, I forgot to tell you some points in aves. Okay. If aves are actually called as glorified reptiles. Okay. So glorified reptiles in the sense they are advanced reptiles. Okay. And then kiwi is the flightless bird. Okay, and then hummingbird is the smallest bird. The fastest bird is swift. Okay, so and then yes, that's it. Now we're going to see about mammals. So I don't want to brief much about the mammals as we've seen enough in human physiology. Okay, so mammals are again homeothermic. So we are warm-blooded. Okay, so our skull is dicondylic. We have 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 32 pairs of vertebral nerves. Okay, so cranial nerves are 12 pairs, and then we have vertebral column, well developed vertebral column inside which your spinal cord is running down. Okay, we have a well developed endocrine system. Endocrine system is well developed. Then most importantly, how is mammal unique compared to all other phylum is just I'm going to tell you. Okay, mammals will have mammary glands. mammary glands. So mammary glands are seen only in the mammals. Okay, and this mammary glands is for feeding the young ones, and also parental care, that is taking care of the young ones. This concept is also seen only in mammals. Okay, so some organisms will, most of the organisms will give birth to young ones directly, but some give birth to premature young ones. Okay, so they carry their young ones in their backs till they are mature enough. Okay, example your kangaroos. Okay, so mammals are basically the considered as the advanced phylum. Okay, the most advanced phylum. And yes, mammary glands and parental care are the most important feature. Body is covered entirely by the hair. Okay, so you have hair covering all over the body. Some mammals are carnivorous, some are herbivorous. Okay, so you have both the categories, and some are aquatic also. Your whales and dolphins. Okay, some will fly. Your bats. Okay, that wings is called as patagium there again, and then some will be having forelimbs and hind limbs. For some, we call it as hands and legs for humans. Okay, so mammals are the most advanced phylum, and they are actually ruling all of the phylums, not entire mammals, mainly the man. Okay, so with this, we are done with the animal kingdom, entire animal kingdom. So I repeat, we started with Porifera, then we've seen Coelenterata, then Ctenophora. Okay, so see Porifera, we've seen this Coenocytes, then your Coelentrates, we've seen this Nematocyst and all, Ctenophora, comb jellies. Okay, then Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, and Hemichordata. So your largest phylum is nothing but your Arthropoda, second largest is your Mollusca. Okay, and then we've Hemichordata, we've seen Balanoglossus, tongueworm or acorn worm. Then we started with Chordata. Coming to the chordata can be divided into two broad types. Jawless ones and jawed ones. Agnathostomes and Gnathostomata. Okay, in agnathostomes, so there's only one class, Cyclostomata. Gnathostomes, Pisces and tetrapods. Pisces, chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Tetrapods, we've seen amphibians, reptiles, aves, and mammals. So this is the order from which you'll get a lot of one words. Okay, you have to concentrate more on the connecting links and missing links, some exclusions in the family, some type of unique cells found in the family. Okay, so from this there are a lot of questions can be asked.